Good afternoon, everyone. Say good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Yeah, it's afternoon. I have to say, it is amazing to see all of you here. Amazing to see the kind of energy that we're able to continue to push forward, and it means a lot. It does. It means a lot because I think about, what is it, we're May, I'm like losing touch with it, we're May 2022. 5 years ago to this month, first time I met a lot of you. 5 years ago, from that town hall in Willenboro. 5 years ago, before I decided to step into this arena, and I did it because of the same reason why you showed up those years ago, was because we were seeing things happen to our country that we thought we'd never see.
Right.
That were things that we took for granted were being challenged. That words were coming out of the mouths of leaders that we never thought that we would hear. And we decided to step up. Many of us had no idea what to do. I remember, one volunteer came to see me, and they were telling her about door knocking and phone calls, and she's like, I've never made calls before. I never knocked doors before. I was like, I never ran for Congress before. So we're all in the same boat. Many of us didn't even know each other at that time, and now many of you are close friends and we're community members. But what we were at that time, we were citizens. And what we did, many of us, for the first time in our lives, is try to understand what our responsibilities are as citizens of this great country. What we did 5 years ago was remarkable. And I hope you will always remember that, because we were a ragtag bunch of people. And, we went up against an incumbent, we went up against an operation, and we were able to put together the strongest grassroots operation that this part of New Jersey had ever seen. And I still remember showing up on election day in 2018. I think, many of you remember that day. I woke up that day, it was pouring rain. Pouring rain. Oh, and I looked at the map, and it was like pouring rain only on top of like the Democratic areas of the district. Like bright sunshine in Ocean County. I was like, what is... And I just remember I voted, and then I was going to the first canvas kickoff of the day to get out the vote effort. I think it was at Denise's place, right?
Yes.
Here in town, right? And I remember driving up there, pouring rain, and I turned to my wife, and I said, no one's going to be there. I said, who's going to show up? It's pouring rain. And I just remember we arrived, pulled the corner around. I saw cars parked as far as I could see on that block. I walked on in, and people didn't even notice me because they were too busy getting ponchos, getting clipboards. It was amazing. I remember I was giving remarks, and I remember this is one of the most vivid moments of that campaign. So I remember looking out onto this crowd of people, getting ready to go out. And I remember saying, I hope what we've built here makes you proud, no matter what the results are today. I hope what we built here makes you proud. I think about that a lot. 5 years in, I just want to look out to you and say, I hope what we have built together, I hope the work that I've done in Congress, I hope what we are trying to do collectively, I hope that makes you proud. Because we are going to need every ounce of energy you got. Every inch you can give us. Every moment you have to try to get through what we're up against. I thought I'd seen it all. Even after 2016, 2017, 2018, I thought I saw it all. But some of the things that have been continuing to happen, things I never imagined. I'm sure you feel the same. This attack on women's rights. The idea that daughters and granddaughters right now are going to grow up in a country with even fewer rights than their parents did. This idea that people can't even go grocery shopping without the fear that they have. If you don't mind joining me, I'd love to just take a moment of silence for the victims in Buffalo. We do this because we have to. I ask that you remember those roles and responsibilities of being a citizen. That you think about what it was that you set you on this path. Your very first political event, your very first call, your very first door knock. Some of you I talked to on the way in, today was your first. Welcome. We're so excited. But remember that. Remember why it is you do what you do. Remember why you're here. It's not for me. It's not for the Democratic Party. It's not just for 2022. Something happened in your life, something that you saw, something that you experienced, that set you on a path to be here today. Think about that. Imagine that in your mind right now. Now make that your North Star. Make that the thing that you remember. Anytime things start to feel hard, anytime things start to feel like it's too big, remember that thing in your mind right now. That is your North Star. It's easy for me because my North Star is right behind me. Many of you remember seeing my North Star in strollers when I first started. Look how big they're getting, huh?
Awesome.
That's, yeah, the other ones there, that's right. That's what I ask of you. Because what we started on 5 years ago, it wasn't just about winning that election. It wasn't just about holding Trump accountable in the White House. What we have tried to do is show this country that there's a better way and a different way to do politics. That politics doesn't have to be just screaming and yelling, mouthing off on Twitter. It doesn't have to be this experience of just being at each other's throats. In fact, the American people are sick of that. They're sick of it. So every time you think things can't get worse, I just see the news and I see something horrible that someone said. I'm like, oh my goodness, this is a coworker of mine. And it just has really come to give me this sense of what we're up against. That what we're up against isn't just about this battle of whose policies are right and whose ideas are right. What we're getting at right now is the fundamentals of what kind of world do we live in and how can we heal this country? That is the fundamental question. I remember being at the Capitol the night of the 6th, and that was the singular question I was thinking about, is how do we heal after this? And I think what this community has done points towards the answer. It's that we build community. We build community. Community is the actual manifestation of E pluribus unum. It is exactly what we're doing here right now. We are all coming together, but we are one. We're working together for a common cause. Because we recognize each other's as people who are trying to do something right, trying to think about what comes next. So once again, I stand before you, asking for your help. Asking for you to do what you've done. For those who worked with me before, thank you for coming back. And I'd also love to give a warm welcome to our colleagues from Mercer County and Monmouth County. We are so excited to have you. We got some good reinforcements here. And it's going to be important because look, we got just a couple months until Election Day. And we got this district where we have over 330,000 people who I've never had the opportunity to represent before, who are going to be asked to decide what direction this district goes. I need your help. I need your help to be able to get out there and do that. To be able to have those conversations. I'll be doing it too. I'll be out there fighting tooth and nail, but you also know I got to be down at the Capitol. I got to be there trying to make sure we're passing that gun violence protection laws and the other steps that we can do. Protections for women to be able to make the decisions for themselves. To be able to support families right now when they're struggling so much. I mean, these mothers right now that are struggling when it comes to formula for their kids, when it comes to worrying about what happens next with schools and about what is going to happen when it comes to healthcare. There's so much that are on people's minds. And what they want to know is anyone listening? Does anyone care? I want you to know, and I want them to know, that we are here, that we do care. And we're going to look out for each other. That's been the fundamental premise of what our campaign has always been about. I want to give a shout out to my staff, both on the campaign and on the congressional side. Many of them are here. Many of them have given so much of their life to trying to help this community that has given us so much. For me, as a kid who did my kindergarten here, and then Austin got to do his kindergarten here the other day, the other year. This is our community. So I'm asking you once more that we need to do this. If ever we learned anything over the last couple years, it's that you don't take anything for granted in politics, right? Nothing for granted. Just when you think you've seen it all, something else happens, right? So we have to be prepared for everything. I'm going to give this everything I got. I'm ready. I'm going to give this everything I got. And the reason why is because when I see everything that's out there, when I see the enormous challenges that we face, there becomes a decision in front of you about what are you going to do? What are you going to do about it? Right now, we live in a historic moment in American history. It's hard to think about because none of us actually wanted to live through a historic moment. I remember, everyone's always like, well, this is unprecedented, this pandemic, these challenges to our democracy. And I remember I just heard someone say, like I wish I could live in precedented times again, We didn't ask for this, but it is the time that we live in. And for us, and for our kids, our grandkids, for the future of this country, we have to recognize our role. What I learned on the night of January 6th is that I am but a mere caretaker for this country. My job is to take care of this country on my watch. I swear an oath to protect and defend the Constitution of the United States. And for me, on January 6th, it reminded me that the Capitol building is a physical manifestation of Article 1 of the Constitution. For me to be a caretaker meant for me to take care of the Capitol. But it's for me to understand my role and for you to understand your role, not just on election day, but every day. That we have that new baseline of civic engagement in this country. So when you're faced with that, when you're faced with these challenges, remember that the opposite of democracy is apathy. It's if you give up. If you say the problems are too big, or the forces are too great, or my energy is too low, that I can't do it, and that's what we have to resist. Fight back against that sense of helplessness. Fight back against that sense of apathy. And if ever you feel that way, first of all, know that it's natural. It's hard to do this. I'm sure many of you are tired. I'm very tired. But we do this because we know it's the right thing to do, and we've also been given in this district an opportunity. This district has shifted the political landscape in this country. Right now, the House majority is only 4 votes. 4 votes. And there are only 7 of us right now that are Democrats that represent districts Trump won in 2020. That's it. So I am 25% of the House majority right now. So don't worry, I'm going to drive home safe. It's okay. But I tell you that because I want you to know your power. Know what you have done. Know that you have done something that other districts have not been able to do. And right now, we're afforded that opportunity again. The rest of the country is looking to us for help. And what I say to them, what I say to you, and in these times of difficulty, I know exactly what I need to be doing right now.
You're not allergic to peas.
My role
There's a stink bug on you.
is there. Can you get it off?
I think I got it.
It's gone? Is I know exactly what we need to be doing. Anytime you worry about it, anytime you feel that sense of confusion, know that our job is to do everything we can to hold this seat. To be able to play our role in our democracy. To ensure that our slice of America is going to be a force for good. That our community is going to be fighting on the right side of history. And we do this because this is our home. This is our home. That's why we do it. We don't do it because it's some tribal battle between parties. We don't do it because someone else is telling us to do it. We make our own decisions in the Jersey 3rd. This is our home. And this November, we're going to show them what we do to protect our home. I'm ready. Are you?